Fox News host Bill O'Reilly faces questions this morning after new details emerge about harassment allegations. A New York Times investigation found that 5 women received a total of $13 million in payouts. They were made by Bill O'Reilly or Fox News parent company, that's 21st Century Fox. Now, in exchange, the women agreed not to pursue litigation or speak about their accusations of sexual harassment and inappropriate behavior.
In a statement, the company says, quote, 21st Century Fox takes matters of workplace behavior very seriously. And while he denies the merits of these claims, Mr. O'Reilly has resolved those he regards as his personal responsibility. CBS News reached out to the women named in the New York Times report. They declined to comment or did not respond. New York Times correspondent Jody Cantor is a CBS News contributor. Good morning, Jody.
Good morning.
Lots to discuss here. First, 2 of these settlements came after Roger Ailes was dismissed by 21st Century and after Fox said in a statement that behavior that disrespects women or contributes to an uncomfortable work environment will not be tolerated. That's pretty significant.
That is the real significance of this story, because last summer they were so clear about the fact that this kind of behavior was not going to be accepted at the company. And yet what my colleagues uncovered is that they're still settling these claims.
So if Roger Ailes had to go under these circumstances, why does Bill O'Reilly get to stay right now?
That question is really for Fox, not for us, but I'll give you 2 theories. One is that Bill O'Reilly is the key on-air personality at Fox News. He is the public face of that channel in so many ways. Another is that, remember, last summer, Fox was still negotiating to keep Megyn Kelly, its biggest female star, at the company. And here's where we see
she's no longer there.
She's no longer there, but at the time they really wanted her to stay. And as we know, she was very troubled by these kinds of harassment claims, said that she had been subject to them herself, actually. So you see part of the power that having a prominent woman at the company
well,
can
Bill
exert.
O'Reilly
Is that the same reason that the company is supporting O'Reilly?
Well, certainly it's in their interest to keep their talent on the air. He has a huge following.
Bill O'Reilly has released a statement. He says this: just like the other prominent and controversial people, I am vulnerable to lawsuits from individuals who want me to pay them to avoid negative publicity. So what do you make of that response? And doesn't it open the door now for people to say, well, he's going to pay, I might come up with a claim?
Well, I would keep in mind that there's a pattern here. This is not one woman who's come forward. This is now several. So the idea that he's the real victim here and that these women are targeting him to get him to pay up, I think there are some questions about that.
You talk about that pattern. As the New York Times reports, O'Reilly would create a bond with these women. He would offer them advice, promise to help them professionally, and then pursue sexual relationships with them. So they were worried that if they rebuffed him, it would hurt their career.
That is what Michael Schmidt and Emily Steele reported. And remember that the context here is that Roger Ailes was running Fox News. So it was very hard for a woman to go to management and complain, because it turns out that management was subject to exactly the same kinds of complaints.
Go ahead.
Well, I should say Axios has also put on a list today of the 15 women, at least 15 women, who have accused Bill O'Reilly and Roger Ailes of sexual harassment. This is systematic. I mean, this is a huge problem.
It's the top cable news company. It's the person who ran that company. It is the biggest star at that company. And if you look at the amount of money that has now been paid out in response to these allegations, it's a massive amount of money.
Okay. O'Reilly and 21st Century Fox also say this, that no one has ever used an anonymous company hotline to report concerns. Why do you think that this is an important point that they're making?
Well, I'd question whether a sexual harassment claim can ever really be anonymous.
On a company hotline.
Exactly, because if I bring a sexual harassment claim, in order to investigate it or pursue it, you have to go to the person who supposedly did it and say, hey, an employee is raising these concerns about you. Now, the probability is that that person is going to know who I am.
Was a corollary question raised as to whether Fox accurately reported this in terms of their own income statements and in terms of their balance sheet?
That is the subject of a federal investigation right now. We don't know what it's turning up, but as we know, when investigators start rifling around in your business, a lot tends to come out. And so I think the question is what the findings will be with regards to those payments, but also what else will they find out about operations at Fox?
Because the relevance is that they were paying them as though it were a salary as opposed to a settlement. Right, that's what's under investigation.
Is this story over?
Aren't they talking about giving somebody immunity, maybe?
I'm not.
Yes, one of a former Fox News executive does have immunity.
Do you think the story's over now that this settlement has been announced?
That's what we don't know. These allegations have just kept coming since last summer.
All right. Thank you, Jody Cantor.
Thank you.